I realized something recently. I have released 70 episodes of this Intentional Clinician podcast, and I noticed that some people had been asking me, how is the clinic going? What's going on there in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and West Michigan, and Kent County? How are you serving the community? What's going on there? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? So this, I guess, would be considered a follow-up to episode 1 of the Intentional Clinician and episode 3. In episode 1, I talk about what is personal transformation through counseling and discuss my journey of moving from Arizona back to my home state of Michigan after about 10 years. And in episode 3, I talk about many different studies concluding that counseling is a very effective form of treatment. But let's get to the story. So in 2017, my wife and I moved to Michigan after living in Arizona for a long time. And if you've listened to any of the episodes of this podcast, you know that I'm quite passionate about mental health and recovery and transformation and people getting their lives back, people's relationships being saved, people's children getting better, and people just overall enjoying their life and finding a balance in today's world, which is very difficult to do considering all of the stressors that are going on in the environment, in the politic realm, business, money, a lot of stress going on, a lot of deconstruction of different institutions. And so I just wanted to talk to basically the people all around the U.S., but especially in West Michigan and Grand Rapids about what I'm doing here with our team and why. So basically, the short story of it is, when I was a kid, my brother and I had both had some family turmoil, and my brother was taken to a few different therapists. And before really getting to know his story or anything about him, somebody slapped the label bipolar on him. And I mean, later on, we've been confirmed by multiple psychiatrists that he did not have bipolar. Same with multiple therapists. He had a lot of anxiety and some different things going on. But I remember this and how that impacted our family and how it impacted his story. And I remember then my parents bringing him to another counselor who basically was trying to give him easy answers advice and suggesting certain religious fixes to the problems he was facing. And again, I just felt so disenfranchised with this. I thought, what kind of answers are these? This is not solving our problem. And if anything, it made it worse. And of course, I grew up in mid-Michigan, in Lansing, in East Lansing area. And anyway, a long story short, I don't want to go into it. But anyway, eventually I grew up, went to college, was going to be a teacher. Then I decided to go into mental health. After a long time in Chicago and a long time in Phoenix, I was passionate about training because I think part of it was I didn't want other families and other individuals to have to go to therapists who were not up on the training, the latest trainings. They didn't understand childhood development, that, of course, teenagers change moods right and left. It doesn't mean they're bipolar. Bipolar is a very serious diagnosis when you can read about it, but it's long periods of depression followed by periods of mania and really bizarre behaviors, none of which my brother had. He just was, going through a lot at the time. So essentially, when I moved to Grand Rapids, we started Health for Life Grand Rapids, which was a small clinic, and then it grew. And to be quite honest with you, my mission was to serve the community, to serve the people of Grand Rapids, the people of West Michigan, and find a place that was not full of stigma, sort of like this negative, like if you go, there's a stigma in our culture about going to get any sort of mental health help, which is quite unfortunate because just like other forms of medicine, if you participate in physical therapy, usually you'll get better, or else, you might have to go to a higher intervention. But a lot of people had mislabeled mental health care, and maybe that's actually the fault of the mental health practitioners. Without going into too much detail, I did notice that when I arrived in Grand Rapids, the level of passion for the field among people I met, there was a small minority that were very passionate, really getting into continuing education, just love serving the community. But then I met other people that I just felt were trying to make a living, trying to make a business, and it wasn't really maybe their calling, or maybe it was their calling, or something like that. But I just noticed a low level of education, a sort of a attitude of, well, I got past grad school, and so this is where I'm at, and almost advice giving and things that are actually deemed in the counseling literature not to be effective. So I really worked to try to find people to bring into the practice that I felt were passionate and could go along with those core values of education, treating people with respect, no shame, no blame, believing that people can recover, but if we aren't the best to serve them, to definitely find the right resource, to really just become a service. And that's why the website became the website it became, with so many blogs and resources. And that's why we launched the Trauma-Informed Counseling Center of Grand Rapids under the Health for Life Counseling name, to really address the lack of trauma therapy that was empirically proven in this area. And so basically, that's my passion. But the true confession is I didn't really know much about business. I wasn't very good at it. I just tried to do the next right thing. So I had to get some business coaching, some business consulting. I learned that not every therapist that you interview in an interview is going to be a great therapist. Maybe they will someday, but at that time, they may not be ready to work at your clinic. I learned that you have to make tough decisions sometimes. And I learned that, like any industry, there's a dark side. One of the things I noticed was that some of the group practices serving the community in this area really catered to one demographic, upper middle class. They would not take Medicaid or any insurances that paid less than the high-paying insurances or the cash pay clients. And I took issue with that. And I know that's a personal decision, but I felt that if I'm going to open a counseling clinic, I've got to be open not only to those clients who really can afford it and are excited to, pay for the service because they know we've got excellently trained, advanced therapists who've been EMDR trained and all these other types of therapy that go way beyond grad school, but also serving the folks that are, fall on hard times or socioeconomically disadvantaged. So that's something we really took to be a mission, even though that does mean lower revenue for everyone involved. And that does mean that, you don't want to look at that. In our ethics as counselors, we are not supposed to discriminate based on race, gender, religion. But what about socioeconomic status? Are we allowed to discriminate against socioeconomic status? And I think the answer to that is no. And another thing, so our mission was to serve all people in the community. And I think we've really done a good job at trying to find people from different viewpoints and catering to all types of people that may be in this area, different belief systems, different socioeconomic status, different ethnicities. And we're really trying hard to be inclusive in all ways, no matter where you come from or what you believe, because our mission as therapists is to help the individual, help the family, help the couple, and we believe that has a ripple effect on the community. So let me just tell you about some of the things we provide here at Health for Life Counseling. In our two locations, one is on the edge of Grand Rapids and Ada, and that is also nicknamed Health for Life Counseling Ada. It's on Fulton Street, and it's just east of the Grand Rapids Ada border. The other one is the original Health for Life Grand Rapids, or Health for Life Counseling Grand Rapids, and that is near the edge of Grand Rapids Township and the city of Grand Rapids, near the 96 highway in Cascade. And I'm very excited to expand our location because we can serve more of the community. And we've really worked hard on finding the right therapists to join us. I believe we have done over 50 different reviews of resumes and over 25 interviews only to find the 6 new people that we hired. So it was a long process. One of the things about our webpage, if you ever go to it, is we talk about different types of counseling so that people can understand what we serve. And we're still working on adding more categories. Soon we're going to be adding victims of different types of trauma, but we offer individual counseling and couples counseling, family counseling, counseling for children, counseling tailored specifically for women, some specifically for men. 6 types of trauma-informed counseling and trauma-specific interventions, which you can see on our website, including EMDR therapy, somatic experiencing therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. We work with parents of children and adolescents. We even work with some people struggling with substance use-related issues. We work with the parents of young adults. We have counselors that specialize with the LGBTQIA community. We have counseling for eating disorders, counseling for, of course, depression and anxiety. For the people on the journey of parenthood, we have a lot of parents who are just, new parents, and they're dealing with multiple issues, including we have counselors that specialize in postpartum, panic attacks, insomnia. We have had some counselors who have a great deal of experience working with people who are having spiritual issues, which may lead to depression and anxiety and other things like that. And most recently, and I'm very excited about this, we have a counselor who is now bilingual and is also offering counseling in Spanish. And we're going to add some more categories soon. But one of the things you can do is just go to our website and see which counselor that you sort of identify with, or check out our blog and read some of the things we've written. The cool thing about telehealth is that we're able to provide counseling to people all over the state of Michigan due to our licenses in Michigan. And we've had people call us up from different cities who didn't feel very safe going in their community, maybe because they're a known person in their community, or they maybe knew the therapists in their community. And so with this update, I just wanted to let you know about our passion. We are here to serve. I have made sure and worked so hard to ensure that all of the counselors that I supervise, and as the clinical director, the counselors that are under me are trauma-informed, they understand the latest science, and they are believing in an integrative model of care. And we believe that anybody that seeks mental health counseling or anything, relationship counseling or whatever is going on, you're brave. It takes a lot to ask for help and to confront difficult issues in your life. The good news is this: we know counseling works. I mean, you can listen to podcast number 3 where I go over about 10 articles that go through meta-analysis, and this is from the American Psychological Association. These are from the Great Psychotherapy Debate, where a professor studied over 10,000 peer-reviewed studies of counseling and found that 79% of the participants did better than if they just had counseling, and not even that much counseling. There's so many research studies on our website about EMDR therapy and people that have been through car accidents and other traumas feeling better so much more quickly sometimes than even talk therapy. Relationships that are in trouble. I mean, counseling can really help straighten those things out as well. And so we are passionate about helping anybody and everybody because we believe that this investment in that time with a counselor can change your life. I mean, it changed my life. You can hear about that in multiple episodes. And it continues to change my life in a positive way. And especially in the society where things have gotten really ugly lately. Lots of arguments, people spending time online, throwing mud at each other, blaming external factors. Not a lot of people looking inward and what can I do and how do I make my life better and what do I do if I'm miserable? And these are all things that counselors talk about. We believe in finding meaning and being able to really reset where you're at, no matter if your circumstances or your financial circumstances or your family circumstances aren't what you want. These things can be sorted out through counseling, even if not everything is how you would want it. So thanks so much for listening to this. I really hope that people in Grand Rapids and West Michigan will find this podcast because of the title, and check out some of the great information that we put out there for free. As I said, this is my 71st podcast. It's a short one. It's a special one because I've got so much information out there for you. We've got little blogs explaining things about mental health. And one of the things I forgot to mention actually is a lot of counseling agencies, when you call them, they almost have administrators doing what I call clinical decision making. They just assign you a counselor and give you an intake date for your first counseling session. And maybe you requested one, but if you didn't, they probably assigned you one. So one of the things that I have my admin doing is they try to talk to you about multiple different counselors that might be right for you, but then they give you a free 15-minute consultation with that counselor so you can be sure that this is the right person for you and that there's a right match. And if that counselor doesn't have the skills or doesn't feel that they are the right counselor for you, they can also make sure you find the right person, because we're all about serving the community and trying to find that right fit, because with an effective therapist, counseling has been proven to be even more effective than medications and longer lasting. I mean, this is from the American Psychological Association, and it more effective in the long term. And that's from multiple articles. I've seen that. And it's a great first line treatment when you're in a rough spot. Going to counseling first can really change your life. And of course, combining with medications can even do better. But we're here to give you a free 15-minute complimentary consultation with the counselors that seem to be a good fit for you, and just to make sure that it's the right thing. And then from there, of course, you can go to your first appointment if it works out. So if you have questions, give us a call. Our website is www.healthforlifegr.com. That's www.healthforlifegr.com, or just Google Health for Life Grand Rapids or the Trauma Informed Counseling Center. Our number is 616-200-4433. You can always send me an email. I'm Paul Krauss. I'm the clinical director. And what I've been up to lately is I'm becoming an EMDR consultant, which is the EMDR International Association. I'm, of course, hosting this podcast. I do some behavioral health consulting. I teach classes for clinicians. I supervise clinicians, and doing a lot of different things. I actually released my first course recently for the parents of young adults, which is an on-demand video course. It's on Udemy. You can find the link in the show notes. It's very cheap, but it's about 3 or 4 hours of me talking about different things that can help your adult child when you're a parent. And I'm working on getting a bunch of counselors I know and a bunch of people that work at our office trained with EMDR therapy, and I've partnered with EMDR Training Solutions. So if you're a therapist listening to this in the area, I've actually worked with EMDR Training Solutions for quite a while. I know these trainers going back 10 or 12 years, and they've now formed this business. And they've given me a code called the word intentional, which gets you $100 off your training if you'd like it. So thanks so much for listening. This is Paul Krauss. I'm here to serve the community, and I'm hoping that our counseling agency, Health for Life Counseling in Grand Rapids and Ada, Michigan, and the Trauma Informed Counseling Center of Grand Rapids can make a big impact for years to come. And I'm looking forward to just hearing many success stories. I got an email from somebody I worked with for a couple stints of counseling recently, and I was so honored that they sent me a bullet point of reasons that they were happy that they went to counseling, and thanking me for that. Now, as counselors, that doesn't happen. Usually people get really happy and then you just say, okay, well, thanks, and we'll see you next time. But it's nice sometimes to hear those stories as a therapist. But regardless, we're here for you. That's our role. That's our calling. And if you've never been to counseling and you just want to try it out, one of the things I tell people is just try 6 to 10 sessions and see what goals you might accomplish. I mean, some people go to counseling even when they're feeling well. That's something I noticed in Phoenix, Arizona, where I lived full-time for 10 years. And even Chicago was that high performers, athletes, business people, just people that wanted to just do better would go to counseling. It doesn't need something necessarily to be wrong, but at that point, it's more of an investment in yourself and gaining goals. And of course, some people, they have things going wrong, and so we try to help that change or help them cope with it if it's something that can't change. So again, thanks for listening to this. I've got a lot of resources on the website, and feel free to email me questions. And I hope everyone has a safe and peaceful week.